Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Annie and I'm an artist. I am trying a new thing. So today we're going to look at how I approach an illustration commission. I recently started doing digital illustrations and offering commissions, and I thought maybe it would be fun or useful or cringe to share them here with you. I was going to do something else, but then Flag Me's Death got renewed yesterday, so I thought since I have this one Flag Me's Death commission that I did not too long ago, I would share that instead. But yeah, let's get started. This piece is of Oluwande and Jim. And you can see me here just looking at some reference pictures and putting them up on the Procreate documents. I started sketching. I had this just kind of initial oval shape and some oranges. If you've watched the series, you know that those are like meaningful for these two characters. My commissioner had just kind of very vague idea of what they wanted. So they wanted that Jim and Olu had swapped hats. So that's why Jim has Oluwande's beanie and Oluwande has Jim's like fedora. And the other thing, I think they asked me if I could draw them holding hands. So I wanted to draw them like doing a little pinky hold because that's very cute and kind of understated. And also just kind of, Jim is quite a reserved character, doesn't show a lot of emotion on their face. So I wanted them to have like this little secret smile that they're giving Oluwande without Oluwande seeing them, and then Olu just looking all dreamy and like looking maybe at the night sky or stars or something like that. So that's kind of the vibe I wanted to go for, just kind of encapsulating what this kind of what these two are like together. You can see me doing like really, really rough sketching. That's how I like to work. I like to nail down the initial shapes and kind of positioning. And I switched from full body to half body because I wanted their faces and also the hand holding to be sort of more in the middle of the illustration, because they're the more important parts. And like I just really don't like drawing feet or shoes. So here I'm, trying to nail down some of Jim's features. I like drawing faces, but I get really specific, and that's kind of annoying to me as well. Like I'm really slow because if the face doesn't look right for whatever reason, and I can't always even point out what the reason is, I just like go over it and over and over it for hours and hours until it is satisfying to me. Also, you'll notice I tend to have the background color set as something else than white. Because when you add highlights at the end, it's kind of easier to tell where your sort of baseline is, I think. And I took some color swatches just from the screenshots. It changes. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I eye drop straight from like reference photos, or sometimes I just eyeball what colors I want to use. Colors are really important to me. This is kind of like a secondary sketch which I'm like refining. I'm going to when I'm happy with this, I'm going to create another layer and then reduce the opacity of this one, and then I'm going to start like doing more refined line art on top of it right here. So you can see how inexperienced I am at doing kind of line art or inking. Like I'm just faffing about drawing and redrawing the lines again and again and again. It's probably something to do with also the fact that I have a small iPad, so like my hand movement is quite restricted. I can't do like sweeping lines, so they're like, it's all like in the wrist a lot. So with a bigger screen, might have a more stable hand. but also just the lack of practice. I'm not the most precise illustrator. I'm more I'm more about the colors. I like to think that I'm very good with colors, but you'll see. Here, again, obsessing over a minute detail, the hands. I mean, looking at it again, whilst I'm not drawing this piece, I think this is unnecessary. Like, it doesn't have to be like so super accurate, but when I'm in it, I'm like, I have this idea in my head, and if I can't execute it to some level of perfection, then I'll just keep redoing and redoing it. But one thing I would say though, if you have something like this, like if you want a very, very specific positioning of fingers, like I did, I trace over a photograph, and then I try to place the hands like in the illustration like they need to be, and then I'll just refine from there. I think there's just an unnecessary amount of shaming over people tracing over references. Obviously, don't trace anyone else's art. This should be, that should be obvious. But for like, if you have like anatomic references or like a particular angle that you just can't get right, I think tracing is okay, especially if it's just a small detail, like a hand. Hands are notoriously hard to draw, in my opinion. So the tools that digital art allows you to use them. So yeah, I'm kind of redoing Jim's face here because for some reason I wasn't happy with it. So you can see just how hard it is for me to get the right angle of the nose, especially from like 3/4 view of the face. And like, kind of the reason that I want to show you this whole process is that maybe you're just starting out drawing, or maybe you have a master's degree in fine art like I do, and you still struggle with things that are really easy for some people, and maybe those other people that you think they're seeing things are easy for also struggle, but they just show it. So yeah, this style kind of illustration is also a bit out of my comfort zone. I'm trying to learn to be a bit more sort of loose and relaxed. So these lines are quite rough. The brush that I'm using is quite big, and it has a bit more like textured and cartoony look, as opposed to being like realistic. Not that I'm that good at realism either, but I normally don't go for such strong lines. I just sketching in Ollivander's beard, and you can see me flashing my reference image layer, and I'm just checking kind of the general shape of his beard. So like, where does it go from the sides, and how long does it come to, and like how much does it stick up, and also, yeah, like digital drawing allows you to pick select elements of your drawing and then kind of move them about and resize them. And someone may say that's cheating because you can't do that when you're doing a pencil sketch, but I think there are, like, digital art has its own challenges and traditional art has its own challenges, and you should always use the tools that are available to you. So yeah, just go wild with the digital tools, I say. Then just kind of sketching in the clothing. Both of these two have like very loose fitted worn out clothing, because they're pirates, and they don't really care about the looks of it, but to get kind of the right fit, I just want to follow the lines of the body and like try to figure out how the fabric would fall and fold and crunch up. I mean, none of this, I always kind of wing it. None of this is based on anything apart from just, what I feel like looks right. And I feel like, that's also okay. Just kind of thickening up some of the lines here because my commissioner specifically asked for this more chunky line style. So I wanted to give that to them. It's always important to talk to your client and see if they have like some preferences, like, or if they've seen some of your work before and they liked something and didn't like something. So I'm just trying to kind of replicate that kind of thick, more sketched art style here. So then onto colouring. This is fairly quick because this is mostly just flat colours. You can see me flashing the reference layers again, kind of checking what colours go where, using the eyedropper to pick some of the shades that I had saved on in the swatches. I added Ollivander's earring. I think it's always nice, even if you're doing something quite not super detailed, to add tiny details. And also, like, a really important thing that I think about digital art or illustration, for me at least, is I don't like it when it looks too flat. So like when the colours are just uniform color, even if I'm doing this more cartoony style. So I like to use like texture brushes or overlay layers to add just some depth. So you can see here on the shirt there's just like this really faint kind of geometric texture, and then on Jim's coat or jacket, as well as in their hat. And then finally I've just adding some shading. Normally I do like kind of warm shades, cold highlights, something like that. Oh, sorry about the flashing lights there, trying to figure out the background color. Normally I would blend these in, but I wanted to leave them a bit kind of rough this time around. So they're, you can kind of imagine they're under a tree, so the light sort of filters through a bit unevenly, and just some really, really faint highlights on like the tops, on the top of the nose, on the cheekbones, a little bit on the top of the head as well. And then you start thinking about the background. So your illustration is primarily, let's say, warm tones. You want a complementary color for the background, and so to make sure the figures on the forefront pop, not just because they're figures, but also color-wise. I like adding these little details like this frame around the oval and some texture to the background as well. So I'm not going to paint a full tree there, but I wanted to suggest that they're on a field with some orange trees, and the surrounding area is now a teal sort of shade. They're pirates, so they're sailing on a pirate ship, and so I wanted to bring that into the illustration as well, in like a more abstract way. All of this sort of comes together as I work on the piece. I hardly ever have like a very clear idea of the final or like the result when I start doing it. Like in the end, I'm really happy with this piece, and and my client was really happy as well. I feel like that was probably quite chaotic and jumbled, and I don't know if it was helpful or interesting at all. Maybe like some final notes to myself. Maybe be less pedantic about minute details. You have this ability to zoom in incredibly close. Like no one's actually going to zoom in that close. So is it worth spending hours trying to get one finger into the right position? I don't know. Maybe it is. That's like definitely something I want to improve on, so I can be a bit, more efficient. Not that I think that you always have to be super fast. There's a lot of pressure to be incredibly efficient and productive and quick. but I think maybe it's more important to embrace the process. If you like this, please comment, like, subscribe. You can support me in many different ways. I'll put some links here. I'm taking commissions if you want me to draw your OC or some more characters from Our Flag Means Death or Dragon Age or anything. You can message me, follow me on Twitter, place an order on Fiverr. I don't know. Alright, bye. Gotta cover the nipples. Am I decent?